such as kissing the Statue of Peace, was sentenced to 6 months in prison. On Wednesday, the Seoul Western District Court sentenced him to 6 months in prison and 20 days of detention on charges including obstruction of business and distribution of fake obscene materials. The court also meted out a 5-year employment restriction banning him from working at institutions related to children and people with disabilities. The ruling comes about a year and 6 months after he caused public outrage during his travels in Korea. Johnny Somali was first put on trial in October 2024 for allegedly obstructing business operations at a convenience store in Mapo District, Seoul, by playing loud music and pouring instant noodles onto a table after an employee stopped him from drinking alcohol. In the same month, he was also accused of causing discomfort in public by approaching multiple pedestrians while carrying a bag of odorous raw fish, playing loud music, and dancing on buses and subways. During his travels in Korea, he even uploaded a video of himself kissing the Statue of Peace in Itaewon and performing a lewd dance in front of the monument. This act in particular has been seen as being extremely disrespectful, as the statue symbolizes the suffering of Korean women who were used as sexual slaves during Japan's occupation of Korea in the first half of 20th century. Such outlandish behavior at the time drew huge backlash from Korean netizens, and Somali got attacked multiple times on the streets by Korean YouTubers. The American live streamer later expressed regret over his past actions and publicly apologized. However, shortly after he made an apology, more charges were leveled against him, such as distributing a deepfake video of him kissing a Korean female streamer. In March last year, Somali appeared at the court for his first hearing wearing a red Make America Great Again hat. When asked why he was wearing the hat, he said, "Because I'm an American citizen and South Korea is a vassal state of the United States," sparking further controversy. Then in July last year, during his live stream, Somali waved the Japanese rising sun flag, saying Japan should reoccupy South Korea and refer to Tokyo as Takeshima, the Japanese name for the Korean islands in the East Sea. After repeatedly engaging in such outrageous acts, Johnny Somali is currently on trial in Korea on 7 charges that includes breaking the Minor Offenses Act. A departure ban was placed on him, preventing him from leaving Korea. Prosecutors had earlier demanded 3 years in prison and a fine of 150,000 won for the American streamer. Meanwhile, both Somali and the prosecutor's office can appeal the case.
Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali. Johnny Somali guilty. Johnny Somali had got 6 months. 6 months and 20-something days. And there is labor included in that 6 months. He's already been pretty much locked inside Korea for the last year and a half. So this 6 months always make it 2 years. I mean, he was not technically locked up. But he couldn't leave. He couldn't leave Korea, South Korea, and he couldn't work. And so whatever money he did make doing this foolishness, this nuisance streaming, he burned all of that up. Reputation shot, and it might not be over because in South Korea, the prosecution can appeal the judgment and add more time. So he could still be getting more time. But they have only like 7 more days to do it. But with his reputation and what he has done, it's possible he gets more time. But I think I would think he's going to get at least a year, 6 months, or I was thinking 2 years. But when you add up all the time that he's been stuck in Korea, and then he had these 6 months, it will be about 2 years that he has been stuck in Korea. So yeah, I'm thinking that's part of the situation. But I think it is a deterrence. I think a lot of people see what's going on with Johnny Somali, and they're going to act. They're not going to be acting as a fool as he was, so openly blind fool that he was. And I think he's going to learn his lesson. If he does the 6 months. And I think it will stop some people. It's not going to stop everybody, But and if he would have got more time, if he would have got maybe 2 or 4 years, oh, he would have got 5 years. I don't think anybody would be coming to Korea doing any kind of that nonsense. But I think it will stop a lot of people. You're still gonna have a few fools that are gonna keep trying, but and the thing is, they make him an example, but he makes himself an example of being a fool. We all know that 99% of people are not going to go over to Korea or these countries acting a fool. But if he's seen a few people do it, that especially were not of our color, not this color, but still acting a fool. And I guess he thought he could do it too. And he did do it for a while. And he did make some money. But, you know, we have to always, it is what it is. We are who we are, and we have to make a good example of who we are. It's not a burden, really. It's just being who we really are. Peace.